guest, I'd like to introduce Adam Olenn. He is with Moses Brown. Come on in. We're talking about a big event that's happening tomorrow. So good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. Cinco de Mayo, so kind of a dreary day, but you're brightening things up, aren't you?
Thanks very much.
So tomorrow is a pretty cool opportunity that you're hosting at Moses Brown. We're talking about the Great Glasses Play Day. Tell us about this. You guys are having a pretty big day.
Yeah, so it's this is the 6th year of the Great Glasses Play Day, which is an international celebration of vision and wellness. And so basically what we do is we invite kids and their families to come, kids who wear glasses or might need glasses. When you're a kid, you can feel funny about wearing glasses. It's different from how you were before. And one of the things we like to do is let them see other kids with glasses who are older, younger, grown-ups with glasses, and just feel comfortable. You know, it's sort of an extension of the community spirit that comes out of our Quaker values. And we have pizza and games, and it's free and open to the public. That's tomorrow, 12 to 2. And we'll have Melissa Simon, a pediatric ophthalmologist on site who can answer questions and help families figure out what's going on with their kids' eyes. Yeah.
So, and you guys are the only site that's doing this in New England, right?
Yeah, as far as we know, we are one of 30 sites worldwide,
Wow.
But we're the only one happening around here.
So that's pretty neat. Now tell me why you decided to do this and why you think this is so important to have in the community. Because it's free and anybody can come. It's not just for Moses Brown kids, right?
That's right. So this is really the brainchild of Becky Biggs, who works in our lower school, and her daughter needed glasses at a very young age. And so she learned a lot about early childhood vision stuff. And as a result of that, and working at a school and caring about kids, she thought, well, why don't I share what I've learned with other families in the community? And so it grew very organically. Once she learned about this program, she said, well, we're the perfect place to host this, so we do. And we have a lot of great sponsors who contribute things, flatbread donates to all the pizza, and LPG ophthalmology. It's a big word to get out on a Friday afternoon.
These glasses people.
Yeah.
It's easier to say. The eye people.
The eye people donate medical expertise, and Allie's Donuts, and Hasbro gives us some toys for prizes, and we have t-shirts. And so it's just a really fun day, but with sort of a learning overlay for parents especially, and a comfort aspect for kids.
And you find in your work with children, especially younger kids, is there a stigma when it comes to wearing glasses? Or maybe, and it's not just glasses, it's contacts, it's patches, which can be troublesome. Do you find that kids feel somewhat ashamed or nervous or embarrassed? Or is it over that? Are we over that part?
I think it really depends on the environment you're in.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that most kids carry that forward themselves. Certainly some do, some don't. Everybody has sort of a different comfort level. At a place like Moses Brown where we're always, inclusivity is just part of the thing.
Totally.
Then no, kids don't seem to have that. I certainly remember when I was growing up, I think there were some harder edges on the world, and you might get teased for having glasses. So maybe that happens in other places. We don't see it at MB that I'm aware of, but we certainly would like the world to be like that.
Exactly. I remember we used to take vision tests in elementary school, and sometimes I would try to cheat so I could get glasses, right? I'm wondering if kids have on either side, they're just not sure. Sometimes you think, oh, I want to be different, so I want to wear glasses.
I think there's something that both of my daughters have at one point or another decided they really needed fake glasses.
Yeah. I had
or
some, right?
Done the fake, I'm not sure. Yeah.
So does this just give children and parents an opportunity to get more information and to feel more comfortable?
That's it, yeah. And it's a fun day, and, especially if it's kind of rainy. This happens rain or shine, 12 to 2, and it's something fun and free to do on a weekend, which every parent needs.
Yeah, no kidding. Just to be able to get out and be with the community. Something that you kind of sent over to me is kids don't always have the ability to describe that they are having problems seeing.
Sure. Kids know what they see, and very oftentimes they can intuit that by the context of what other people are saying around them, that maybe they're not seeing things the same way, but they don't always, especially at very young ages, have the facility with language to be able to really articulate what it is that's different. And this is especially important in very, very young children where, lay people like us would just say lazy eye, but that can be amblyopia or strabismus or esotropia, these very different conditions that an ophthalmologist can tell you which is which, and some of those can be pretty severe. They can lead to blindness.
Oh, geez.
If you don't, but early intervention, you'll be fine. And some of this stuff are things that we can't really spot unless you're trained. And so that's why it's important to do those vision screenings, especially with young kids, because you can catch things before they become a problem.
Okay, great. So it sounds like a great opportunity for kids and parents to get out and just chat with other kids too. And it's nice that it's open to everyone in Rhode Island, and you can get out, have some fun. You have crafts, you have the playground happening at 12 to 2. And so, we hear about different health fairs happening within the community. Will there be eye vision tests, anything like that going on, or will it just be the person there to talk about different kinds of glasses, fittings, and that kind of thing?
Well, there'll be an ophthalmologist there, so we're not doing, scheduled tests, with all of the sort of setup that comes with that. But there'll be an ophthalmologist there.
Perfect.
Who very often, that sort of early conversation helps you figure out which way do I really need to go here.
Exactly, to kind of help you navigate, does my kid need to further pursue something with glasses or not? And
that's free as well.
Which is absolutely fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about some other things that are happening within the Moses Brown community. You're always so busy, always so active. What other things do you have coming up?
A lot of things that are going on right now are sort of these ongoing large-scale projects. In December, we opened the Woodman Family Community and Performance Center, which is a big performance center, but it's this incredible flexible space. So all the seats can disappear, and it's a big, just empty black box. Or seats can come out, and now you've got a full theater that's raked from the tip-top back row to the bottom front row, and all kinds of things in between. So we've been doing a lot of films where we'll host some sort of thought-provoking film and then host a panel discussion. So we did Landfill Harmonic, which is about a band basically from the slums of Paraguay who has instruments made out of trash. And they have gone on international tours with like Iron Maiden and Metallica.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really, really remarkable kids. And then we had sort of a movie about climate science. And then just a couple of weeks ago with the Providence Center for Media Culture, we screened I Am Not Your Negro and had a discussion about race with some faculty from MB and other places talking about these serious issues and James Baldwin and his life as a writer. And so we're doing more and more of those kinds of things because we've got this facility and it's intended to be one of the venues in Providence that people can have cultural and intellectual experiences at.
And what has that been like, being able to bring in different people talking about these different experiences, being able to provide that opportunity in the community?
It's awesome! I love it! So I went to Moses Brown, class of 91, and it's really exciting to be able to have these kinds of events where different people are getting to come use these facilities, have rich intellectual and emotional experiences. It's what I love about the place, and so I'm really glad that we get to have more folks doing that. We had a gospel choir in December.
Oh, cool.
It was banging. It was so good. And it's just really fun to fill that room up with different people who get to experience it.
Are you looking to make it sort of a destination in that area for people to come in and to continue these discussions and talk about relevant, important things that are happening not only in our time, but in our state and in our culture?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago, we did a mayoral debate with Mayor Lorza and Buddy and Mr. Harrop. And we were, to keep that on the rails, it was a no...
It's kind of hard to... forget that.
yeah, it was a memorable experience.
His memorable experience.
But there were no rebuttals, so it always sort of stayed in a marketplace of ideas kind of place. And Moses Brown kids and Hope High School kids wrote and read all of the questions. So it was, these politicians were interacting with kids. Kids were sort of getting their first, real rubber meeting the road interaction with democracy. And there were a ton of people there, and it was a great night. And those things are just fun to attend, let alone to put on. I'm glad I get to be there. I have a front row seat at all this stuff.
And what a good learning opportunity for kids looking to get into civic engagement
and
just figuring out what the political system is like in our community
as
well. I mean, Providence, it's Big time politics.
A lot going on.
A lot going on to be able to provide that opportunity. So that's really neat to be able to have that venue. Do you think that that's kind of where things are going, looking forward into other spaces for different high schools and for different just schools around the area or abroad? I mean, that seems like a really neat kind of technical, being able to move things in and out. Is that a good way to invest for other schools? I'm just asking. Another way for people to invest in different types of event space?
Sure. I think, for one thing, it's not that new, right? If you look back to the Library of Alexandria, a couple of thousand years ago, schools and colleges and universities as centers of learning, not just for their students, but for their larger communities, that's a model that's been around. And this is just sort of a new expression of that model. We're really, really fortunate in that we've been able to put together a place that has, sound and light and staging and projection at a high level, so we can do that, and it feels professional. When you go watch a movie there, it feels like you're at the movies, not in the gym, which it used to feel like, which doesn't take
the cafeteria,
right.
Or
And you can still watch a great movie and have a great conversation in the gym, and we do. So in terms of investment, sure. I mean, that's a complicated question that you'd have to look at what else is going on with the school strategic plan and how does this fit in and what educational objectives does it serve. It's a lot of fun.
So it's working out for you.
It's working out for us. So far, so good.
It's working out for Moses Brown and the community there. What else do you have going on? You said to me you have a couple other things that are happening. Talk to me about Squash Busters.
Oh, that's a fun
just to say.
Yeah. So Squash Busters started, I want to say 26 years ago, up in Lawrence, Massachusetts. I think it was basically some private equity investment banker guys who played squash wanted to do something meaningful and give back to the world, and they hit upon the idea of using squash as an athletic hook to help kids with academic achievement. And so the basic model is 5 days a week, you get 90 minutes of squash and 90 minutes of school.
Okay.
In the afternoons. This is the same sort of model that Project Goal has.
Just what I was going to say, we always talked about Project Goal. Yeah, it sounds just like that.
So it's Project Goal with squash. And they've been doing it for years.
Kids know what squash is?
Well, some do, some don't. And they've
Once they can say, okay, Siri.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me, what's squash?
Yeah, not a vegetable. It is a vegetable, but that's not what we're talking about. Well, the funny thing is, and I just learned this as a part of this project, squash in the United States has kind of an upper crusty vibe about it, but worldwide, it is a sport of the people like soccer.
Oh, cool. Okay.
There are a ton of third world countries that have, you might not have electricity or running water, but there are usually some municipal squash courts.
Oh, that's neat.
Right?
Yeah, that's really neat.
And so basically what's happening is we are building a facility on the Moses Brown campus that is a home for Squash Busters that will be 12 courts, including a doubles court.
Wow.
So it'll be one of the biggest, most modern squash facilities on the Eastern Seaboard.
Wow.
And it'll, our kids can play squash and Squash Busters kids can play squash, and they can learn together and learn from each other and play together and form friendships that sort of cross the neighborhood and school lines that often crop up.
Wow, that's really neat.
Yeah.
So when do you think that will be wrapped up or starting, or what's the timeline?
Oh, there's a hole in the ground. It has started. There is cement in the hole in the ground. Yeah. Every couple of days I drive by and, wow, they added that. That should be open, I think, spring of 18.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's going to be pretty fast.
Yeah, that's not bad. So we're looking at, that's a good timeline. Funding for that? We're looking at all kinds of different funding?
Yeah, well, this is one of those things Squash Busters was nowhere in our strategic plan. And we have a strategic plan of specific things we want to do, $15 million for scholarships, and the Woodman Center that we just talked about, and money for teacher development, these kinds of things. And then the Squash Busters folks came to us and said, hey, we want to do this. And we said, well, thank you very much. We're flattered.
but
that's not really in the plan.
It's not part of the strategic plan that we have for these things. Yeah.
And we talked about it some more. And then they came back and they said, no, we really want to do this. And they were like, what if we took on a little more of the load? And we said, thank you. We're flattered. But it's really not in the plan. And after a few rounds of that, eventually they, with their own fundraising network, were able to raise so much of the money that we would have had to be fools not to do it.
Yeah.
And it helps us extend our mission. We can, through scholarship support, there's a lot we can do to improve educational outcomes for individual children, but only so many children a year, right? School's only so big.
Yeah.
And through this program, it means we can help the academic prospects of over 100 kids a year.
Wow.
On top of what we're doing already. So and their outcomes are astounding. So they start working with kids in 6th grade. And the Squash Busters thing is not that you have to be a great student or a great athlete. You need to work hard and show up. If you work hard and show up, Squash Busters will have you. And they like to get you in 6th grade and take you all the way through 12th.
Let's see.
And 98% of their kids go to college.
Wow.
Almost all of those to a 4-year college, and something like 70% of them graduate in 4 years. I mean, these are astronomical outcomes. They work only with schools that have 80% of their kids on free or reduced price lunch. So, I mean, it's a truly transformative experience for the kids that do it.
Well, that's amazing. We'll have to get in contact with them because we've talked with Project Goal and such an amazing, valuable mission there.
Yeah.
And something that so many people can relate to. So now we have to talk to the Squash Busters
Yeah,
folks
absolutely.
to get them in here. And I'm sure they're pumped to find out about their new courts and not find out about it, but
they know about them.
not find out about it, but to be able to see the progress being made.
Yeah.
Once you get that and be able to see like the progress happening and be able to see there's a hole in the ground that's now filling up with water, right?
Yeah.
That's
and it's
excellent.
exciting to see the talent that comes out of these programs that you don't necessarily get to see because environmental factors get in the way.
Oh.
And Project Goal, we have students at MB who are these amazing rock stars, really smart kids, and without Project Goal, we would have never gotten to appreciate them and work with them. We see the same sort of thing with Squash Busters. It sort of reminds me of Community Prep Kids. I don't know if you've worked with them at all.
Not yet.
So that's a private school over on the south side that has, once you go through Calculator Club, you'll never forget it. That's where they have one kid with a calculator, and the head of the school just starts firing out these really hard math problems. And all the other kids in the class, like when it's your turn, you have to beat the kid with the calculator. And it's bang, 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 what's 10 radical 2 times 8 radical 3? And I'm sitting there going, what's a radical?
Did someone say radish?
Yeah,
My
exactly.
garden over here.
Exactly. My mom's calling.
Our community garden is doing just fine.
Yeah, exactly.
My radical ways. Oh, that's amazing. And to know that kids are able to do that and be able, because I just had anxiety you saying that, explaining that. I just had a wave of anxiety and panic go over me.
Yeah, it's a little squiggle thing, and I kind of remembered it when they put it on the board, but that was about as far as it went. English major.
I know, communications, broadcasting.
Yeah.
So I've fulfilled my math requirement in college that one semester, and that was about it. Well, incredible work that you're doing at Moses Brown. So many neat programs, so much new stuff happening. Really excited to talk to you about that. Do you want to, before you leave, Kate brought it up in the back, talk to you just about all the viral sensation, talking about school cancellations and that. Talk to me just a little bit about all the success that Moses Brown has received, and talk to me just about how you guys thought about it and how you continue to push that forward.
Well, I have 2 daughters, and we drive to school every day. And a couple of years ago, they would have been, 9 and 5. So 2 little girls in the car. I try to do music education morning. Today it's opera, tomorrow it's hip hop, the next day it's country or gospel.
That's
or
neat.
whatever.
I like it.
But, in the spirit of fairness, well, what would you like to listen to? And we pass that around. And when you have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old girl in the car, Frozen is like, talk about a frequent flyer. Every day, once or twice on the way into school. So the song was in my head a lot. And I had seen, it's not a new trick. Again, it's been done before, but usually like a couple of, like a principal and assistant principal at their desk in an office. And that's sort of a fun idea. And so with that song in my head, singing it for the 50th, so let it go, school is closed. Hey, there's a there.
We have a winner.
So I went to the head of school, Mac Glendinning, and I said, you want to try this? What if we put a little effort into the filming? It could be really fun. And he said, yes. And I said, all right, but if we do this, you got to give me a princess spin. And when he said yes to that, I knew we were golden. We could try anything. And so we just had a lot of fun. It cost next to nothing to do, just a little bit of time. And obviously we got really lucky with that storm coming up the East Coast, so it was already a media story. We also got lucky in that nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
You know, if there was a giant pileup on 66 in DC, the joke's not funny anymore.
No, exactly.
And so we were, you know, very lucky and very thankful that worked out as well as it did. And we've tried to just push ourselves every year to do it a little better, to put some thought into it, to continue to vary it. You know, nobody wants to look at the same thing over and over again. So, you know, this year we did a lot less mat and a lot more kids and places around the state.
So fun too.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Adam Olenn with Moses Brown. Great Glasses Play Day is tomorrow, and can't wait to see what happens next with the viral video, continuing the good work within the community, all kinds of different programs happening. You'll have to let us know what's playing within the new theater, what all the different programs you have, so we'll keep in touch.
Great.
Good. Okay, let's take a picture
Thanks so
before
much,
you
Molly.
go, and I kick you out into the rain. He came in walking with a big, huge umbrella. I was like, yes, he knows what he's doing here. All right, we'll snap a picture. Thank you so much. So it's on the playground tomorrow. If it rains, is it still outside or are you moving inside?
Rain or shine, so we'll find a way to
Figure
get
it
everybody
out.
inside, maybe in the lower school and play around there. You know, there's blocks in the sandbox inside and stuff. So
Amazing. Thank you so much. It was
Thanks,
such a
Molly.
pleasure.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. You stay dry and have fun tomorrow.
I will. You too.